Ladies and gentlemen, we are live with episode 4 of Everything Pro Wrestling. Tonight I have two special guests with me. First and foremost, shout out to my man Austin, aka RealDealVeal. Say what's up to the people, Real.
What's going on, people?
All right, and my second guest is a longtime wrestling fan. I know him as VA, but also his real name is Mike Pukey. Mike, say what's up to the people.
How's it going? Thank you for having me.
All right. And you're getting a little cut in and out there on your mic, just so you know. We got plenty of topics to discuss tonight, so feel free to drop some love in the comment section if you agree, disagree. Share the video on different social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook, whatever you want to do. We're going to start off as we usually do with Monday Night Raw from last night. Monday Night Raw was kind of a show overall for me. The opening, we had Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman come out. Basically, they do the same thing they do every week. They set up the show. They let you know why you're buying the pay-per-view, which was announced last week, the big triple threat match between them. And Dean Ambrose came out and challenged Brock Lesnar, which seemed odd, and Lesnar didn't respond. Veal, we're going to kick it to you first, man. What did you think of the segment there with Heyman, Brock Lesnar opening things up, and Ambrose coming out?
I mean, overall, I thought the segment was pretty good. I just didn't like how, like you said, Lesnar didn't retaliate. He's known for just kicking ass and, well, excuse me, you kicking you know what and saying names.
No, you're fine. Say whatever you want.
Yeah. But, I just didn't seem like they let Lesnar kind of do him. He's known for, if you just come out here and run off on him, he'll just take you to Suplex City. And he didn't do that.
So it surprised you, too, that he didn't respond back to him?
Yeah, I agree with you completely there.
All right. VA, what did you think of the opening segment overall with Lesnar and Heyman?
I really liked the opening segment, and I'll tell you why. It did a very good job at putting over Ambrose as a credible threat in this triple threat match. Like, pretty much he's an afterthought in most of the smart marks, minds that, Ambrose is not winning this triple threat, at Fastlane that they have. But I felt the opening segment did a good job of Ambrose confronts Lesnar, makes you sort of believe, hey, maybe, he's crazy enough to be able to win this triple threat kind of thing. He's not afraid of Lesnar, didn't back down. So I think in that respect, it did what it was supposed to do. And I think it was a good choice to have Ambrose come out instead of Reigns, like immediately to respond to Lesnar, because had Reigns come out and started the response to Lesnar, you would have gotten the fans all, doing what they would do, either booing or cheering or whatever, whatever they would respond towards that sort of opening towards Raw.
Yeah, I will say this about a positive thing from it. I love how Paul Heyman keeps it simple. He follows the KISS model perfectly. He tells you why he's there, why you need to buy the pay-per-view, and what's going to happen at the pay-per-view, which is kayfabe, I guess, for his client or whatever. So I thought it was okay, but nothing too different. The next match we had was Kalisto defeats Rusev. How are you guys feeling about the Kalisto run, Veal? What do you think of him as champion? And they're trying to put him in this kind of role that Rey Mysterio was once in. What do you think of it?
I've been a fan of Kalisto for a little bit here. I like what he does. He definitely keeps people interested, and I like what they're doing here. Giving him a chance to do a little singles run, maybe until Sin Cara comes back, maybe after Sin Cara comes back. It gives him something to do, and with all these injuries, it definitely helps build up another guy's credibility.
Yeah, I like it a lot. VA, what do you think of Kalisto's run so far? I mean, do you like him?
I happen to like Kalisto. We've had many talks before. I'm not really a fan of the sort of the high-paced, high-flying style, but but Kalisto seems to be one of those few guys, like a Rey Mysterio, like a Billy Kidman, that he's able to tell the right stories in the ring, and because of that, it makes a credible opponent for whoever he's facing. Now, with that said, do we remember when Rusev was this unbeatable monster heel? Yeah, no, I don't remember that either, right? Poor Rusev is like gone way down the ladder, and I feel like, yeah, they sort of protected him, right? He only lost out to Kalisto and whatnot, but I feel like this match was sort of more a little bit about how Rusev has fallen than them building up Kalisto to me, because these Raws in between, your pay get a lot of filler. They try really hard. The first Raw after a pay-per-view, like the Raw after the Royal Rumble, or a Raw that's like right before the pay-per-view, the go-home show. But every Raw in between always seems like this sort of filler, and sort of medium-ish sort of matches, and build up until they get. I feel like the match was okay. It did what it was supposed to do. I like new star. They need to build up new. Kalisto's a fine choice. I mean, they've been saying internally in WWE they need to build up, Latino. Kalisto is a fine choice because not only does he with the Mexican and the Latino community, but I believe he's born in Chicago, right? He's from Chicago originally, or something like that.
I'm not sure where he's from. On your mic too, we're getting you're cutting in and out, so I don't know if it's from movement or if it's your connection or something. Just double check everything. Overall, I'll say this for Kalisto. Kalisto is, I always go back to this. Kalisto is someone who's either going to, one, be phenomenal in the ring, and he can go 100 miles an hour and no mistakes, and he's flawless, or he'll be that guy who you watch struggle, and you're like, man, he is making a bunch of mistakes and messing everything up. So I don't know if it's just him still being nervous or getting adjusted to the WWE style. And with Rusev, I hate this League of Nations stuff. I think it's complete garbage what they're doing with them. I mean, it's not anything bad to say about any of the guys who are in it. It's just, this is
right.
Going.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, we're past the sort of 80s model where, we're foreigners, hate us kind of mode. And that's their whole gimmick, right? So I think we're kind of past that. And in a sense, that's why a lot of people worldwide don't like Americans. So I don't know.
Yeah. Let's jump into. All right. So then they had a little bit of a Stephanie McMahon setting up a New Day versus Roman Reigns and Ambrose for the main event. Yeah. And then we'll get into the Usos defeat Curtis Axel and Adam Rose. Let me ask you this first, Veal. The Usos, are they stale to you? Are they kind of? Are you a fan or not a fan?
I'm a fan of the Usos, but I mean, after a while, you kind of get tired of seeing the same old stuff. But I'll tell you what, though, that super kick to Axel, oh man, that made me that made me get excited. That was crazy. And the one to Slater, whew.
Yeah, they were on point yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
That reminded me of the Shelton Benjamin, Shawn Michaels super kick. Shelton Benjamin came off of the top rope and got leveled by Michaels with that super kick. And the Uso, was it Jimmy or Jay? I don't remember. And Axel, they pulled that off beautifully. I mean, it looked nice on camera, and in the replay it even looked nice. So that was really good. I enjoyed that spot. The Usos, to me, are where they are. I mean, to your point of being stale, yeah, maybe a little bit, but they've been gone for a whole year, basically, due to the injuries. So I think they get a pass a little bit. You know what I mean? At least for a little while, they'll get a pass. But I feel like they're very phenomenal in the ring. So as long as that's the case, that's all I care about. They're going in the ring. They can have good matches with whatever tag team they're in there. And best wishes to Bo Dallas and of course Bray Wyatt, who weren't at Raw obviously because of Blackjack Mulligan health issue, having a health issue. So
yeah, that's never good news to get that phone call for that reason. So, and I thought Bo Dallas, and I'll get on Social Outcast real quick. Overall, that group I think has performed, and they show why they are great talents to have. I'm not saying any of these guys are main eventers or you should put all your focus in the company on them, but I think that a lot of these guys are, how do I want to put this? They are
Tweeners.
They're good for the roles that they're in. You know, I mean, they're okay to lose matches. Just
Santino role.
Yeah, exactly. Give them something to do that'll help them out and make the stuff better overall. And they've done a great job so far.
There is one thing about this match that I did want to ask your opinion. Do you think Lillian Garcia deliberately said Grammy Award winning on purpose, rather than, because everyone's talking about it on social media and stuff? I'm inclined to think that maybe she said it on purpose.
Maybe.
And was fed that, because
I don't think anyone feeds Lillian botches. She's been known to botch walking to the ring. I think she's just a fun, loving person. I mean, mistakes happen. I wasn't too focused on it. I did like, if you guys saw Kayfabe News put out Uso's Grammy taken back because of leaked lip syncing entrance chant. And I thought that was pretty funny. I was just like, oh, Kayfabe News. So that was a free plug for you guys there. I love it. The next segment, we end up getting AJ Styles on Miz TV. And I'm sure AJ loved collecting a paycheck without having to wrestle. This is probably beautiful for him. I'll let you guys, Veal, I'll let you start it off. What did you think of that segment overall?
All I know is I was just happy to see AJ Styles was not wrestling on Raw this week. Being an AJ Styles fan, I'm concerned with all the injuries that have been happening. They might be overworking him to try to get the money out there from his name. But, overall, the segment was great to have Miz just keep cutting off AJ and try to build him up as the ultimate underdog and wait for the question everyone wanted Miz to ask. Did AJ want to be his protege? I mean, the next Daniel Bryan.
That's the classic Miz line. And I like when AJ popped him. He showed a lot of fire. And you got to remember, when AJ Styles was signed, he already had a previously diagnosed back injury, supposedly, what everyone's hearing. So he's already working hurt.
Yeah.
VA, I know. Now, VA has an old school kind of style and opinion to everything. So I kind of wanted to hear what he thought of the segment overall.
I did not like the Miz TV segment because they're portraying, and the way they're portraying AJ is already a bona fide money-making superstar. You do not need him on Miz TV, touting him as, oh, you finally made it, kid, to the WWE. Good for you. And they do this to all of their non-homegrown talents. They're notorious, WWE, for this. And this is not the way to many fans' minds to promote AJ Styles. You don't put him in with the Miz, who no one's cared about since 2007, maybe? I don't know. But when he was with John Morrison, maybe that was the last time they cared, about fucking Miz. Oops, excuse me. But I mean, not how you build. If you want him to be that guy to draw you that money, you can't really be doing stuff like Miz TV with him.
Well, now, see, I'm going to disagree with you on The Miz. I think Miz has always been a tremendous talent. Miz is probably the best true heel, in my opinion, in that company currently. He gets the proper heat. He gets the proper reaction he wants. And I think he does a good job with that. And I think Miz was fine. After he did the WrestleMania stuff, he was a little exposed because he couldn't hang with those guys anymore. And then he made some mistakes, and they dropped him down a peg or two. Then he got put in tag team. And he's just been on the fallen end of the roster ever since then. But now I think he's in a solid role to where he can play this up the whole time and just be this Hollywood kind of guy, do the interviews, come in, have a feud or a match with someone, and then keep it moving. But overall, though, I thought the segment was all right. That leads into Brie Bella defeating Charlotte, which was kind of a surprise of the night. Bill, you're giving the thumbs up. What were you thinking for that match?
Honestly, even though I'm a Charlotte fan, I think everyone was expecting this. Oh, here comes Brie Bella to put over Charlotte again. But, I was actually interested to see Brie Bella pick up a victory. Now, granted, do I think this is going to lead to anything? No, but I would like to see Brie Bella maybe get a title shot at Fastlane. They got to build up people somehow.
Yeah, I don't know where it's going to lead to. I was just surprised that they went in this route. VA, I haven't really spoke to you too much about the Divas in recent times. What were you thinking with this Brie Bella Charlotte setup here?
I thought this was the classic, and with Becky Lynch too, the classic champion filler syndrome, where they're just throwing someone in to beat them to potentially set up a title match that we know the champion is going to win. So what's going to happen is they're probably going to give Brie a title shot at Fastlane, like Veal suggests, but specifically so that Charlotte gets another win to prolong the Charlotte versus Becky or Sasha triple threat, or just Charlotte versus Sasha at WrestleMania, which is where I assume they're going. So this just seems like a sort of filler sort of move. Oh, great, Brie Bella won. It was nice to see, because Brie, getting the short end of it in every match she's had for the last, several months, following around, Nikki before she got hurt, and she's been the diva to lose like every match. So to see, but again, I think it's a classic, sort of filler syndrome with this match, to set up an easy title win for the champion, so that they can go to WrestleMania with what they want to do.
I think it's very smart to do that, and they're playing off of the injury, which I'm hoping doesn't lead to like, hey, let's have Nikki come back and maybe she can save the day. I don't want to see that, so hopefully it's not going that route. All right, now I'm starting to get to the part of the show where I'm going to start getting a little angry with possibly here. We got Big Show defeating Eric Rowan. I'm okay with this. I don't know what they're trying to set up or what their angle is here, but I want to talk to you guys about both Big Show and the Wyatt family. Veal, I'm going to kick it to you first. What do you think of the Big Show still being in WWE today? Is he past his prime? Is it time for him to go?
You see, I look at a situation kind of like when Michael Jordan was on the Wizards. It's like, you're like, you get to see one of the greats, but you don't want to see him out there. It's like he's struggling. I mean, I understand what was going on in this match. I felt like Big Show made his entrance, whipped everybody in the Wyatt family, and then the match was over. I was like, what's going on?
Yeah. I think Big Show is a person who needs to be used in, how do I want to put this, in like the Andre the Giant kind of role, where he's not there too much. He's the guy who needs the part-time contract the most. It'll help him as his character. I know he wants to work all the time. Pay him his money, but have him come in and work the big match against somebody, come in, squash a couple guys on Raw, and then work that big match against somebody. He doesn't need to be there every week doing this garbage and beating people that I'm like, who is this helping right now?
Yeah, he needs like a Chris Jericho contract. Call him when they need him.
Yes. VA, I'm going to kick it to you about the Wyatt family here. What do you think overall of the Wyatt family and how they've been treated since they've come into WWE? Are you still a fan, not a fan? Have they turned you away from them? Do you not care?
The thing is that they've been so, on again, off again, on again, kind of pushed the Wyatt family that it's at a point where I don't know that I particularly care about the whole unit. I do think Big Show versus Rowan did a good job, though, of setting up the family as a threat, together, united. They took down the Big Show, all three of them, and I hope that, they use that momentum to do something, further with them. But I feel like it's the Bray Wyatt plus show at the moment, right? The Wyatt family is all about Bray Wyatt. And as long as that's the case, I don't know that we're really going to get to really do. I mean, we've seen some of Harper, which has been very good. We've seen some of Rowan, which has been but hasn't been bad. I thought his face push during, when he got, up with Team Cena was okay. He was pretty over as a babyface. So, I mean, that was okay. I mean, not great, but okay. It was something different. They were trying something, right? They had to fill in at the last second. And Strowman, obviously, they're trying to, portray as this monster heel, maybe even, oh God, facing The Undertaker at WrestleMania. And I swear that no one wants to see this. But that's the route that I hear they may be going. And as long as they have a long-term plan for some of these guys, I don't, I can see sort of what they're trying to do. but they don't captivate me. Obviously, the rest of them, the way that Bray Wyatt can.
I will say this, that two of them do stand out in my opinion. It's more so the Luke Harper and Bray Wyatt are the standouts of that group. Braun Strowman to me is just big but still very green. I'm not saying that he doesn't have a chance. I think that he's just got to take his time and, play the bodyguard kind of role right now. Eric Rowan, I'm not sure. There's something there, but I don't know what he needs. He's missing something, I feel. Him and Harper as a team, I like it. But Harper is definitely the athletic big man of the team, and I really, really like him in the role he's in. And I think Bray Wyatt is the one who can speak very well, and when it's big match time, he's the guy you want in there because he can perform. And I think that if they give them the chance that they can mean something, but you have to give them the victories they need. They can't keep losing to guys week after week after week because it won't matter. We'll go into the next match here. We have Titus O'Neil defeating Tyler Breeze. Now, it's time for me to talk again real quick. I've said this before. I like Titus O'Neil as a person. Titus O'Neil is a great person outside of the ring, all the stuff he does for charity and things like that. But inside the ring, Titus O'Neil is also very limited. He does the same 4 or 5 moves, and that's all he does. I don't even see him attempt to do anything new or different. Once in a while, you may see him try and do something, but he's very football in his stance and how he runs around the ring. I'm not a fan. And Tyler Breeze, I had to slam the pen down. Why did he get called up to the main roster to lose? Why would you bring him up for all of this hoopla and he's going to lose and you don't show his entrance? That's the best part about the guy. He comes out with the selfie stick and all that. I mean, yeah, he's supposed to be Zoolander. I get it. But why are you wasting this kid's time? You could have kept him on NXT if you wanted him to lose. They were already doing that with him there. So what's the difference? Veal, go give me your thoughts on Titus O'Neil and Tyler Breeze.
Yeah. All right. Now, I'm on the opposite side of the fence. I'm a Titus O'Neil fan. Obviously, he doesn't do very much, but, I've been rocking with him since NXT, way back. But, I thought they were going to give Tyler Breeze his chance on Raw. They gave him his entrance. They let him cut a promo. I was like, all right, this is where Tyler Breeze is going to start to get his shine. And he gets the door slammed in his face yet again. It was kind of disappointing. He's going to be one of those cases, like I feel like with the Wyatt family, he's going to be untapped potential, one of those what-if situations if they don't capitalize soon.
VA, what do you think? Same question.
I pretty much agree with what was said. I mean, I think this is, no one has gotten more wins on Raw, meaningless wins on Raw, than Titus O'Neil in the last month or so. Right? I mean, the guy is a phenomenal ambassador for WWE, and I think that's why he's on the show as often as he is. Now, with that said, he's beating guys that they need to be pushing, of Cody, Stardust, he's now Tyler, guys that they need to be investing in. They're letting Titus win.
You're getting cut out, VA. I don't know if it's your mic placement or what it is. Just make sure you're not moving too much, because.
All right. He's put in that role where it's a non-meaningful match. It's not meaningful. It doesn't matter. So it's like, all right, he does so much good work for our company as an ambassador. Let's wins on TV, but it's at the expense of these other guys that need, and that's the problem.
Yeah, I mean, what was wrong with the primetime players? I was digging that. That was fine. I don't get why they have to do this. And just the Tyler Breeze frustration is just unreal for me. Like, I don't know. It makes you wonder why these guys even get called up. It's probably worse to get called up than stay
Honestly,
down.
I see Tyler Breeze kind of turning into like a Miz role now, where he's going, minus the world title though, which is kind of sad because the kid's got talent.
Put him in a tag team with one of those guys. I say if you're gonna keep letting Dolph Ziggler lose, make those two a tag team, and they could be like the Suicide Blondes, the Hollywood Blondes. Give them something like that. You know what I mean? Where they're the pretty boys with the blonde hair. You could put a female with them or whatever, and they could be the tag champs. They're tremendous talents. But speaking of Dolph Ziggler, he's in the next match. Dolph Ziggler defeats Kevin Owens, which was that may have been shock match of the night. It's either that or the Brie Bella one. I couldn't believe Dolph Ziggler got the victory here. Veal, what did you think of Dolph Ziggler's portrayal in this match and Kevin Owens? What do you think it's leading to for either one of them?
Both guys, tremendous workers. They showed it again for numerous amounts of times why they're one of the best in the business today. And I honestly was personally, that doesn't make sense. We'll roll with it. I was personally shocked that Ziggler picked up the victory here, reversing the pop-up powerbomb into a zigzag, which means that he's one of the first people I think I've seen reverse the pop-up powerbomb into their finisher alone. But I was really shocked to see them give Ziggler a win here. I probably see this leading to a feud at Fastlane, but just to give something for both of them to do until Mania time.
Yeah. VA, what do you think? You think it's another filler role, or what do you see coming from both of these guys?
Let me backtrack. Let me back a little bit because this match really illustrates something that bothers me about WWE, and maybe it's just the era that we're in now, right? At the Royal Rumble, Kevin Owens, last man standing. Last man standing. Okay. Now I saw your show last week. I disagree with putting both Ambrose and Owens in the Royal Rumble. If you're a last man standing match, you should be selling that last man standing match.
Your mic's cutting out, VA. You're kind of low. I can't hear you.
You should be. That better?
Much better.
Okay. You should be selling that last man standing match that was at the Royal Rumble, by not having Owens and not having Ambrose in the Royal Rumble. Fast forward to the week later, Dolph Ziggler could not beat Kevin Owens, who just had a last man standing match, right? And so they booked him to lose that the week after, and then this week, Dolph Ziggler all of a sudden can win. See, it's that sort of disproportionate sort of booking that doesn't make sense to me as a person watching. Like, first the wins, and that would have made much more of a sense, more of a story. You could have had Ziggler win the first one, Owens win the second, and you're good to go for a feud or whatever, just the same. It's just the story sort of inconsistent. But that's just my sort of old school perspective on that. I mean, if you go through hell, last man standing, and you should be out for that rest of that night and probably the night after. Or at least have Dolph win that match, and then have Owens win the next one, if you're going to set something up. But, all right, they did that. It sounds to me, again, like filler, something for these guys to do. But, and it has roots in that Intercontinental title feud that they had with Ambrose, the three of them. So, it is what it is. It's not anything that anyone's going to get too excited about, maybe. But if they put on a great match, which they can do, people will get excited for that.
I will say this. The point you brought up was very interesting about the booking. Now, I know you brought up the whole selling and everything, which I agree with you on to some extent. My main problem is the 50-50 booking, which is kind of growing tiresome, of wrestler A beats wrestler B. Next week, wrestler B will beat wrestler A. And then, what does all this mean? Each time someone beats someone. What happened to when a guy is just going to dominate a feud sometimes? What happened to when Mankind beat The Undertaker over and over and over again because you were like, oh, man, this guy's a threat to somebody. He could actually do some damage. And then when you get the big win, it means so much more. But these guys, I don't know. I just feel like they're diluting all of it with their booking styles.
Right. The only one they're booking strongly is Brock Lesnar right now to beat right? That's about it, right? Well, they don't book anyone to do other than Lesnar. And maybe Reigns.
Well, the only reason that is, too, is because that's who they're focused on. Why Brock Lesnar, each and every week, he's not there to get the 50-50 booking. He comes in, he says, yeah, you put a lot of money on me, so you better make sure I win. Same with Roman. They're investing. They want him to be the next John Cena. They want him to be that guy, so they're not going to have him get defeated. But we're going to jump into Sasha Banks defeating Becky Lynch, for a basic match here. And, I mean, what did you guys think? What do you got for Sasha? I mean, are you feeling push or?
She's the bae, so you know what I mean? She's always going to be number one. But, I see this leading to, I'm using Becky Lynch again, just putting her again with Sasha in a tag team match at Fastlane against Naomi and Tamina. Granted, I think it'll be a good match, but I don't think there's anything less coming out of this than just them trying to stall until they can build up a Mania feud for Charlotte with one of these ladies.
All right, VA. I'm going to pose a different question to you. Now, with the Divas, if I said you were the booker for what you're going to go towards for WrestleMania, what do you go triple threat, or do you let Sasha versus Charlotte happen? I mean, what are you thinking right now? Where they're leading to for all this for WrestleMania?
If I'm booked a threat, I don't book the one-on-one, because if you book the one-on-one, you're kind of sort of you're putting all your eggs in one basket. In other words, you could have your cake and eat it too if you have a triple threat with these three in it. Because there are a lot of Becky Lynch fans out there, and there are.
I'm going to interject real quick. I think Becky Lynch is the type of person who Becky Lynch has earned her spot in that match. I feel the reactions, her promo ability. She sold me on a lot of stuff, and I always liked her in NXT. I always just felt she was going to be the darling that never shined. Basically, she was never going to get her chance, but she was always going to be that man. She was really good. The Rowdy Piper, basically, of the Divas. Like, yeah, you were really good, but you never got to be champ.
Well, you got the clearly defined roles with these three divas, though. I mean, you have Charlotte the heel, you have Becky as the face, and obviously Sasha is that tweener that everyone sort of is gravitating towards, that everyone seems to love. So, I mean, you have it right there, built right there for you. It's clean-cut, defined roles, which is a big key to getting people in. You don't like the heel, you can like the face, you can like the tweener, you got something for everybody. And so I feel like that's the route to go, if they're going to go that route, and I think that most of the fans would be on board with that 110%.
I completely agree with you on that. I would definitely like to see something like that happen. We got Jericho cuts a little bit of a promo, which I think is going to lead to a Fastlane match with him and AJ. I kind of like the promo. Jericho did all right with it, very basic. And then we have we talked about that basically. I'll let you get into the Jericho promo. Are you excited to see Jericho AJ Styles? Is this something that you think they're going to hold off till Mania? What do you think?
Personally, it would be amazing they held out to Mania, but I think they're going to kind of try to cash out, because you never know when Jericho's going to retire. You never know when AJ's going to retire. I think they're going to do it at Fastlane, just by the way things are going. Jericho's been calling him out. This and that. I don't want to say calling him out, but they've been having problems since that match. You saw there was tension even after AJ went for the handshake after they fought on Raw.
I would love to see Jericho turn heel as well.
Oof.
I think that would make it
a long time. It's been a long time since we had a heel Jericho.
Absolutely. And VA, I want to give you a different segment, because I think me and you both will appreciate this one. We're going to just call them the Golden Truth. I think it's happening. Goldust and R-Truth. I will say, for comedic humor, usually WWE is hit or miss. This one is a hit, a thumbs up. I like these two as a pairing. It reminds me a lot of the Goldust Booker T stuff from 2002, 2003. What do you think, though, of this pairing? Are you liking it?
Well, I like this in multiple respects. Number one, they seem to have good comedic chemistry together. So that's one. That's important. Number two, they're both older, so throwing them in a tag team, reduces the wear and tear on the both. So, as you get older, to put these guys that you still have on contract into tag teams makes a lot of sense. It increases their longevity. People still want to see Goldust. A lot of the stuff that he's done over the last year or so comedically has been absolute home run stuff. In that respect, I feel that this makes sense. You should have it go forward. I don't know if that's what this is leading to, or if they're actually going to form that tag team, or this is leading to the whole hint of that whole when Stardust is coming to an end thing. So maybe R-Truth will convince somehow Cody to come back just to get Goldust off. Who knows? I mean, I
didn't think of that.
I don't think that's the route that they're going to go. I don't think that's the way it's going to work. But maybe it will. Maybe.
Yeah. Overall, I didn't think about that. That's very interesting that you brought that up. I think that hopefully Goldust and R-Truth, they both have been floating with nothing to do, so I think it's good for them to be in the tag division and help some young guys out and give them their experience.
You need more tag teams anyway. I mean, you can't have New Day Usos, New Day, Dudley every week. You need more tag teams out there to throw out for variety.
Yeah. Your mic's still cutting in and out a little bit, VA. But I'm going to kick it right now to the main event. You get Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose defeating the New Day, who are the tag team champions right now. Very, very good match. Veal, you got anything you want to say about the match or what's going on with both of these guys?
Honestly, this match was kind of a shocker to me. Roman Reigns surprised me, with some of the stuff he was pulling off. And obviously, I like pretty much everybody in this match. I've been a fan of the New Day since Xavier Woods was coming out in a suit and they didn't even have a gimmick yet. So, of course, I'm going to like Woods and the boys. But they kind of surprised me. I thought the ending was really cool. And, I thought it kind of built up that the boys were together. And then here comes Lesnar to mess everything up. So I thought that was kind of a good lead up.
And you knew someone was going to have to eat that F5.
Yeah.
BA, what did you think overall of the main event segment?
I think it was good. It did what it was supposed to do. Lesnar obviously F5 Ambrose directly in response to Triple H, challenging him in the earlier, segment or whatever. Oh, where did the Beast go? Let him get away. Him F5ing Ambrose made a lot of sense. It told the story that they wanted to go with. A little odd that Roman got taken out so easily by Kofi, I guess, at the end. But, that is what it is. Maybe that'll lead to some dissension, and Ambrose will say, hey, what happened to you? And then Reigns will say, I got my butt kicked by Kofi, so I don't know what you're talking about. So, they're hinting at those things. They did a fine job in delivering the sort of the what they wanted to portray for that particular segment, I think.
Yeah, and that ends Raw for this week. Overall, Raw's been trying to be better. I think that Raw 3 hours still too long. They got to cut the time down on it. There's better ways to utilize it. Maybe make the first hour the pre-show and then use the other 2 hours. There's plenty of different ways for it to get better. That's another show for another time, I guess I'll save that rant for. Second talking point of the night, we have Lucha Underground Season 2, Episode 1 on El Rey. Now, Lucha Underground I'm a big fan of. I'm going to run through basically the matches real quick. I'll just go through segment by segment. Now, Veal, did you get a chance to check out this episode of Lucha Underground, the opening one?
Yes, I did. I was not disappointed. First episode I watched, it was amazing, to say the least.
Yeah, I thought the opening package was pretty awesome. With Lucha Underground, it's filmed kind of like a TV show more than a wrestling product, which makes them completely different. I did like it. It felt very much so like a movie with the Vampiro going through the psychologist and thinking of all the things he wanted to do to him to beat him down. Matt Striker with the car. I liked it. It was pretty cool for the opening package. First match we had King Cuerno defeating Phoenix, who was the Gift of the Gods champion. So now King Cuerno has basically earned himself a title shot, which I thought was pretty cool. Any of those guys standing out to you? Did you like that match?
Honestly, I've seen those two do stuff I've never seen before in a wrestling ring. And I like the whole Gift of the Gods championship concept. I think that's really, really cool. I've never seen anybody else do that. And these guys just went out there and they put on a great show, honestly, for a first-time viewer.
If you've never seen what the Gifts of the Gods Championship is, think Money in the Bank, but they basically put a proper spin on it to where the promoter is basically saying, I want to promote a match. So when you want to cash in your title shot for a world title match, you're going to tell me so I can promote it a week in advance, and then you will get your title shot, which I like. I think that's pretty cool.
That makes more sense.
Let me see here. Who else did we have? Okay, then we had a triple threat match with the former six-man tag champions. It was Ivelisse defeating Angelico and Son of Havoc, and the winner got to face Mil Muertes later on during the night. Ivelisse gets the win. I don't know. I don't really appreciate this man-on-woman violence, though. I don't like that personally. It's odd. Maybe because I've never seen American wrestling. I'm like, you can't beat on a woman like that. Like, that looks wrong.
Yeah.
But at the same point, she's hanging in there with those guys, and she's doing a pretty good job. I will give her that. She's a tough lady.
Absolutely.
Your mic's cutting in and out, VA. Double check it one more time for me. Veal, what do you think of Evilise, though? You a big fan?
Oh man, I was a fan since she made her entrance. Oh my lord! But yeah, the match overall though, really great. You know, I like how they played off that she really didn't have to do anything to win the match. They had the what's the dude and Angelico, I think his name is
Angelico wearing the all green.
Yeah, him and Son of Havoc. They did really good match, trying to pretty much stall while Evilise kind of got her surroundings back around her. So I thought it made the things interesting, especially when she won by roll-up. That was pretty funny.
Absolutely. So Evilise wins, which basically leads into Mil Muertes defeating Evilise for the title match, which didn't surprise you. They did everything right with the spots, letting you think maybe Evilise was going to win and everything. Though, to me, the craziest part happened after the match. Pentagon Jr. ends up coming out, and Pentagon Jr. actually breaks Mil Muertes' arm. I'm like, what is this? Like, this was craziness to me. And I'm like, and it was the sickest, looking arm break where he put his arms around the guy's leg and just snapped it back. Ooh. If you haven't seen it, please check it out. I think it's a really fun show, and you guys will definitely like it. And you'll get to see the build-up between Evilise and what they're trying to go towards. I don't want to ruin it for anybody who hasn't checked it out, but VA is the person I want to have on here because to me, VA is our community's Jim Cornette. He has a very old school mind for this stuff, and I want to know what VA thinks of Lucha Underground, the way it's shot, the way it's set up. I mean, I'm sure he's got some type of opinion on it. I don't know if he's watched it fully, so that's why I really didn't kick it to him on too many questions. But VA, what do you think of the product overall for Lucha Underground?
That intro couldn't have been more appropriate because I read and his opinion of the first episode for season 2, and I sort of agree with what she's trying to say, which is that this is an well overproduced, produced very well, but that they're producing this like a movie, like you mentioned, a TV show more than an actual wrestling show. Let me give you a parallel. There used to be a martial arts TV show in the 90s. It was called WMAC Masters. Okay, it was built as a kids show, and it was your typical B action, martial arts movie kind of real fake stuff, and it was clearly overproduced, but obviously it entertained people. It did what it was supposed to do. I feel like Lucha Underground has to avoid doing too much in that respect, to where they become too much of a, oh well, this is over the top. This isn't to the point where, but it's a good thing because they set their product separate, and what you mentioned, it's a separate sort of entity. It's its own thing. As a wrestling show, I'm not entirely sold that on it as a wrestling show. As an entertainment show, obviously, it's phenomenal. There's a lot to enjoy there. But I think, the point that Cornette was making in his remarks that I had read, and which I kind of agree with, got to be careful, and that you don't overproduce these things and make too many spots and too many unbelievable things happen in your show. I mean, but then again, if it's a movie and they're not trying to be believable wrestling, then it doesn't matter. So.
Absolutely. I think their product is meant to set themselves apart from WWE, which is what TNA used to be with the X division, kind of. You don't want to sell yourself as the exact same thing, because you can't be WWE better than WWE. It's never going to happen. You have to be completely different, in whether it's ring size or characters. I mean, I kind of like what they do for Lucha Underground. It's definitely a great alternative if you are tired of WWE at times. The next thing I have for us to talk about, guys, is NXT. NXT had a pretty good show this is from January 27th. Let's see here. First match was American Alpha versus Blake and Murphy with Alexa Bliss. Now, I know Veal is a huge Blake and Murphy fan, and I wanted to kick it to him on this match. What do you think of American Alpha and Blake and Murphy?
Honestly, Double A and Blake and Murphy, this match it went kind of how I expected. I expected Double A to pick up the win, but I like the way Bliss was used there as kind of like a foreign object, for lack of better words. And I don't know, I thought it made the match better. You know, these guys, these four men, they seemed like they had good chemistry. And I don't know, overall, I just thought it was a great match. Blake and Murphy.
Yeah, I think both teams fit in very well. BA is a fan of old school tag team wrestling. What do you think of both of these teams? You liking them? You digging them?
Yeah, I like both tag teams. They both do phenomenal in the ring. Like Veal said, these two teams together had very good chemistry, I thought. And the only one thing is from calling American Alpha Double A, because there's only one Double A, and that's Arn Anderson. Okay, but, I'm not sold on the American Alpha name, but I hope it works for them, because these two guys, these two guys are phenomenal in the ring. So I hope that it catches on and it gets them notoriety enough to the point. All right, we want to invest in these guys.
Yeah, when I see American Alpha, I can hear JR just screaming blue chippers about these guys. They definitely have the mold, the athleticism, and I'm a big fan. And you know what? Blake and Murphy are not bad either. I think Blake and Murphy are great hands to have in that ring, and I'd like to see them eventually get called up to the main roster. I think you can make it work with them. Maybe they're in line for a face turn or something soon, but we'll see what happens.
I think the call-up's overdue. I think they should have been on the main roster by now.
Well, let's remember, too, though, before they were facing the bigger teams and won the belts, they lost to everybody. And I was like, how did they get a title shot? They won one match and they get a title shot?
They remind me of the Blake and Murphy kind of remind me of that Hawkins and Ryder sort of position. Where if you invest in them, they'll give you something. But you gotta be invested. That's the problem. And I don't know that they're going to invest in them long term.
Right.
We'll see.
Yeah, their stock's definitely not rising. But someone that are willing to invest in, I think, is Nia Jax. And she was with Eva Marie when she beat Liv Morgan. This is your basic squash match here. Bill, what do you think of Nia Jax, Eva Marie, and the lovely Liv Morgan as well?
Listen, I was a fan of every lady involved. I like how they're building up Nia Jax. They haven't had really a dominant powerhouse diva since Beth Phoenix. They tried the Karma thing. It didn't really work out, but I think Nia Jax could legitimately be something big for this industry.
Yeah, Nia Jax has something there. I mean, I see her weaknesses, and they hide them very well if you haven't been watching for a long time. But they're working on it, and I like her being paired up with Eva because I see something greater down the line, which I won't spoil for anyone, but I'll save it. But I think I can see what they're going to do with those two and the kind of storyline that they'll play out with it. And Liv Morgan, I think she's been a good hand to have in the ring, taking a bunch of losses to people, but she's someone who I could see them saying, hey, let's call her in and let's make her a WWE diva. She looks like she would belong on the calendars, the posters, the cups, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
VA, what do you think right now of the divas down there, or I should say divas. Correction, I'm sorry. Women's wrestlers in NXT right now. What do you think of them?
Yeah. I can sort of take them or leave them at this point. All of the main ones that we all enjoyed other than Bayley are pretty much gone to the main roster. And there are others that they off and on invest in. And you're absolutely right. They do a good job at sort of hiding what Nia Jax is not good at the moment, and pairing her and Eva Marie very smart sort of long-term sort of teasing down the future, so that things that they can work with that. So I feel that, again, it's a matter of investment. Do they want to invest in these talents long term. I've always questioned them. And that's what they need to do. They need to invest in them, and they need to, they need to keep their strengths, keep what they do in the forefront. And I just don't know Eva Marie though. I just don't know.
You're cutting in and out again, VA. Just check your mic again when you get a second. We're gonna get to the promo clips real quick, Bill. Basically, it was a promo clip for Asuka. Asuka's a beast. I mean, there's nothing else to say about it. They just show her viciously beating divas down and kicking bags and stuff. I mean, this woman is phenomenal, and I hope they do more with her. And I like how they built her up. It's been a success, I feel. And the vaudevillains, appear to be turning heel. So it looks like they're going that route again with these guys. The promo clips show that they're investing in the talent, I feel. What do you think of Asuka and the vaudevillains?
Honestly, I like what they're doing with Asuka here. They could be hinting towards a heel turn or maybe just her being serious. I like how they leave it in the air for the viewers to decide for right now. But the vaudevillains, I've just never been a fan of them. I just find them boring. I'm sorry. I think Aiden English is a great mic guy. Don't get me wrong. Great on the mic, but I just find them boring when they get on TV. I'm just like, oh, great. From the vaudevillains. Like, who are they going to lose to this week?
It's a hokey gimmick. Kind of, too. You know what I mean? To be like these 1920s kind of guys.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, I kind of like them. I think it works.
I don't know. Obviously, they have a big following. So they're doing something right.
Yeah. The next match we had here, I'm going to give this one to VA. We had Bull Dempsey versus Alex Riley. Alex Riley came out for this match. Alex Riley gets the win with the flying knee. VA, what do you think of Bull Dempsey and Alex Riley from what you've seen of them on NXT?
I don't know. I don't really know what to make of them. I mean, sometimes just look at this. I feel like there's something there untapped that they could be doing with him. But then again, you watch something like, I really don't know. I could take Bull or leave him. As far as Alex Riley goes, I think that he was best left as a commentator, to be honest. But that's just me. I mean, again, you see things in some of these guys. You see why they're on the show. But you wonder, could this spot have been better served for some other talent at times?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Alex Riley, I think he was in a safer spot in the booth. I don't know why he wanted to come back. He had his chance in his push and stuff, and I heard it's because Cena doesn't like him. I don't know if that's true or not. But I don't know. Alex Riley has potential to do some things, but I think that he's not your main event guy, really. I don't know. I just don't see it with him or what they're expecting from him. I think they're just giving him a chance just to give him a chance. Next person to come out was, we have Elias Sampson defeating John Skyler. I'm just gonna let you talk, Bill. I have nothing to say about this match.
I don't know. I like how they're building up Elias Sampson, this like mysterious drifter kind of guy, and I just love how Corey Graves rips him every time he comes out to the ring. Graves just destroys him, which is hilarious. Sampson though, I think he's got great in-ring potential. He shows it. It's just the gimmick. He needs to get maybe a big time feud to establish it pretty much.
VA, I'm gonna let you give your opinion before I give mine.
I don't know. I mean, it doesn't help. Like you said with Corey Graves, it doesn't help when you're burying your talent before they get to the ring. I mean, look what happened with the Ascension, right? The Ascension came up to the main roster, and what was like the first thing that happened? JBL absolutely lambasted the Ascension and absolutely killed them from get-go, from start. And the Ascension haven't done anything on the main roster since then. So you can't be burying your talent before they even get to the ring. That's the first thing. But as far as the gimmick is okay, I like the Drifter gimmick. It's an interesting idea. But I wonder, if that's just not too similar to the sort of the Wyatt family, just a different spin. I don't know. To me, that might be too similar a gimmick.
Okay.
Unless you differentiate enough, you need to have that differentiation.
I'm going to give my opinion now. Right next to this match, if I showed you what it says on my piece of paper, I have 3 Z's across for this match. This match was boring. This guy, I don't know if he gets it, what he's supposed to be doing, but I'm going to say this. Elias Sampson, to me, is Honky Tonk Man 2.0. He does the same neck breaker, which is the shake, rattle, and roll. He has a lot of the Honky Tonk Man-isms in him. And I just don't find this guy entertaining at all. Now, if I could change him and put him in a better role, he would be Damian Sandow's cousin. I think would be a better role for him. He looks kind of like him as the long hair. And you know what it could be? Sandow goes with his I'm a smart guy gimmick, give him a couple wins, and he starts struggling a little bit. And his mom says she's going to send his cousin out with him to come help him out. He's a wrestler. He's been doing pretty good. And out comes Elias Sandow, we'll call him. And this guy is an idiot, a blubbering fool, and Damian Sandow has to team with him because his mom is calling him on the phone like, oh, he's your cousin, he's family, you can't turn on him. And then they turn into a great tag team. I think there's money to be made there with that. This Drifter gimmick, I'm going to say it sucks. It just sucks, period.
He's got a killer theme, though. Awesome theme.
Oh, yeah, the theme music's great. It's just when he gets out there, I'm like, what's this Honky Tonk Man garbage? He's doing, like, the neck breaker, and I'm like, what is this?
I can see where you're coming from, but I think they're trying to build him up, I feel like, how they built up Corbin. They're going to give him squash matches to start off with, and they'll give him the marquee matchup, which will kind of put him on the map, which is what I'm expecting out of this.
Yeah, maybe he'll face, like, an Apollo Crews or something soon. Then we get to the final match, the number 1 contender match. Samoa Joe versus Baron Corbin versus Sami Zayn. Personally, I love all 3 of these guys. It was a great match. It has a kind of strange ending to it with Baron Corbin tapping out to the sharpshooter and the crossface from Samoa Joe and Sami Zayn. Overall, what did you guys think of the match and the turmoil at the end with William Regal saying he has to review the footage? Go ahead, VA. Let's kick it to you first this time.
Well, this is bad logic because we've seen countless number of times where with Triple H usually, where either he's in a double submission. Comes to mind, I believe, the Walls of Jericho and the crossface. I believe come to mind. Double tap outs and stuff like that in the past come to mind, and the referee says, hey, just keep on going, keep on going, and so the logic breaks down when all of a sudden the match is over. It was like, okay, well, why now do you stop the match when many times before you've actually had this happen in the past and you've done different things? So to me, that sort of bothers.
Yeah, I think the logic for pro wrestling, you know how it goes. It's there sometimes and sometimes it's not. Veal, what did you think overall of the match between Joe, Corbin, and Zayn?
Much like yourself, I like all these guys. I was kind of disappointed to see Corbin take the L here, but I see them trying to build this up because they had both Sami Zayn, who's come back from injury, and Joe, and they're trying to cash it out on both of them. Put them both in a match with Finn Balor and see how he does in a triple threat match because we haven't really seen that yet for the title when everything's on the line. So I think that's what they're building up to here.
Yeah, very tough to say where they're going to go with this for right now. And you also have Apollo Crews who's asking for another match with Finn Balor. So lots of different things can happen here. So we'll just see how it all turns out. And we'll see where it goes to before the next takeover. Next one's just going to be our fourth, basically, bullet point here, or topic, is just kind of a talking point here. Today I read that Shinsuke Nakamura left to go to the WWE Performance Center today. Basically, I just wanted both of your thoughts on Nakamura, Doc Gallows, and Machine Gun Karl Anderson, and what you guys think of them and your expectations for them. Are they going to stay in NXT? You think they're going to come up to the main roster right away? Veal, go ahead first. What do you think of Nakamura, Gallows, and Anderson?
Obviously, I like the Bullet Club, but Nakamura, I'm not too familiar on what his game is about, but he obviously seems to be the real deal. I kind of see him stepping in the place of where Hideo left off. He's going to kind of hold it down there. And I see Gallows and Machine Gun Karl Anderson, I think they're going to go to the main roster, personally, to kind of help strengthen their tag division, because it's kind of weak at the moment, because the Ascension are somewhere off in the wasteland. We don't even know where they're at. So.
Yeah. VA, what do you think of Nakamura, Gallows, Karl Anderson? What are your expectations from these guys, or what do you think they're going to wind up doing?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh. I feel that in the case of Anderson and Gallows, I feel like they're investing in them for the future, for things that they can do with AJ Styles now and Finn Balor and the whole Balor Club, Bullet Club, whatever you want to call it. Obviously, they're bringing them in with that in mind to tease the fans for the future. At least I would assume, and they would be very stupid to not sort of do that. As far as Nakamura goes, Nakamura is the most phenomenal wrestler in the world right now, bar none. Okay, you go watch Wrestle Kingdom 10. Okay, you go watch him and AJ Styles. You go to watch Wrestle Kingdom 9. You watch that match that he had. He is the right now. Okay, you bring him into NXT. He's the guy that takes the belt off Finn Balor. Period. He's the guy. He's the next chosen guy. However long that may be down the road, I don't know. But he's the guy. Now, that's if you keep him in NXT. Now, I think that would be smart because he could be your flagship, and then that allows you to move Balor up to the main roster finally. Because right now, they're stuck with no star power at the top. I mean, they have, a couple of guys at the top of that card. But we know that Balor, we know that Joe, we know that Zayn aren't going to stay at the top of that NXT card forever. So you need to have that next guy to come in and take the NXT brand going forward. Nakamura is the guy to do it, and all of the hardcore fans, they will appreciate that. And they will know that, hey, they mean business when they're doing their NXT branding, and they know that at least the NXT brand is continuing the path that it's already trending of the great wrestling action and the best wrestlers almost in the entire WWE are in that NXT performing on NXT. So I hope that that's what they do. I feel like that's what they should do, and that's my hope for them. Now, as far as long term, how long they keep Nakamura in NXT, I don't know. I mean, will he be content just being NXT champion for a while? I don't know. Will they see the dollar signs immediately and say, all right, you're going to stay in, you've adjusted. It all depends on how well Nakamura adjusts when he comes over. If he adjusts really quickly and they invest in him and they put a rocket under his butt, he could be the NXT brand for a good long while, or he could be the NXT brand long enough to once again you've got another leap where you can invest in someone else and you can bring Nakamura to the main roster. Personally, I'm selfish. I want to see Nakamura on the main roster, but that's just me.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of the points you made there. And there's someone else I'm going to bring into the fold in this conversation I didn't tell you guys about. Austin Aries. We all know Aries is going to be in NXT. Is Aries going to be put in that role, though, where he is there to be the veteran who helps? Or is Aries there to be a top talent? Or is he coming up to the main roster? Veal, what do you think?
They put Aries down here to help legitimize some of their up-and-coming stars, and then I can basically see him making his way up to the main roster soon.
All right, VA, what do you think for Austin Aries? You think he's there to be the veteran, coming up to the main roster?
I think he's there. He could fill. See, the thing is that he's so versatile. They could do whatever they want with him. He's another. He's a guy that has established credibility with the fans. People know who he is. Who he is, and so they could do either. They could put him in that top spot, and the fans they would love it. They would know. They would understand it, and he could do that. However, if they need him to put over some other guys, they could do that too, knowing how solid a worker and what a good wrestler and hand he is. So it could be either or. It really could.
Yeah, I think Aries is a great hand, and I think that he's a phenomenal worker. I've always loved his work in Ring of Honor, TNA. And to be honest, all I ask for is, can I just get an Austin Aries Samoa Joe match one time? Just put it on a live special. I'm there. Give me the popcorn. I'm sitting on the couch and I'm happy. All right. So that's all I ask for. NXT WWE decision makers, please make that happen for me. And guys, final topic of the night that I wanted to talk about. Sad news, actually. Bret Hart, the WWE Hall of Famer, is actually battling prostate cancer that we all saw on his Instagram, Facebook, all his social media feeds. But Hitman's words were very powerful, and I respect what he wrote down on there, and he was very strong, and he says that he's going to fight this or die trying, and I respect the Hitman. And he's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, so I wanted to go around round robin and just talk about your favorite Bret Hart matches, moments, whatever you want to say about the Hitman. Veal, why don't you go first?
All right. Well, when I heard the news, it was kind of like, not to spoil anything, it was kind of like in the new Creed movie when Rocky said he had cancer. I was like, wow, is this? I teared up a little bit. I'm a man though. I wasn't crying. My eyes were perspiring. But Bret Hart was before my time. But obviously, you gotta respect who came before you. So.
Do you have any favorite Bret Hart moments? Did you ever get the chance to catch up on any of his past stuff?
Obviously, everything involving Bret Hart comes back to the Montreal Screwjob. That's the most marquee thing I can think about the moment.
Yeah, classic moment with Bret the Hitman Hart. I have that written down on here just to bring up. Montreal Screwjob. No, was it a work? Wasn't it a work? No one will ever know the real truth behind it. Or people have their own theories and scenarios as to each one. But I always thought Bret the Hitman Hart did a great job, and I think that he always took himself very seriously in the ring. He always knew who he wanted to be, who he portrayed himself to be, and he was never scared to work with someone. He said, hey, put me in the ring with the 1, 2, 3 kid. I can do something with that kid on Raw. We'll have a great match, I promise you. And he always made it look real. Like when Bret Hart was in there, he really looked like he was getting his butt kicked real bad. Like that when he gets tossed into the corner spot and his chest hits the corner, every time even as a kid, I was like, oh man, that looked awful. And he always took the punch as well. Just so much to love about the Hitman. VA, I know you're a longtime wrestling fan like myself. What are some of your favorite Bret Hart moments? Something you want to talk about with him?
Oh yeah, see the thing about Bret Hart is that some of his great, and he even says this in interviews and stuff. Some of his greatest moments and matches were the matches that he lost. I think of '92, him putting over the Bulldog in England at Wembley Stadium with all of those fans as the main event with the Intercontinental Championship on the line, which is really unheard of at that time to have your big main event be the Intercontinental Championship at the one of the big 4 pay-per-views. So I mean, and he and Davey Boy tore down that place. They were rocking, and that is also one of his finest. I also think about the Iron Man match with Shawn Michaels, the standard for Iron Man. To this day, it is the only Iron Man match to end 1-0. Think about that for a second. You have all of these falls and all of these Iron Man matches that we've watched, okay? But when you had that one between Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart, these two guys, they gave everything they had. Neither guy would get a fall until the overtime when Gorilla Monsoon came out and said, restart that match. And Bret Hart went back as the champion who could have technically retained the title via draw, but Gorilla Monsoon said, he went back and they finished the match. Shawn Michaels wins, and that to me is the standard bearer for all of the Iron Man matches that came afterwards. That's another big time memory for me. Is that Bret spent away from WWE, felt very sad, and him coming back was a big time moment that a lot of fans really got behind for obvious reasons. To me, he's professional. That is the word that you think of when you think of Bret Hart. You think of professional.
Yeah, I mean, don't get it twisted either. Bret Hart could hold a mean grudge and let you know about yourself. I wanted to bring up some other matches too with Bret Hart. Bret Hart being in the Hart Foundation. What a great tag team wrestler. Him and Jim Neidhart, just the perfect pairing of speed, power, technical wrestling. And you put them with Jimmy Hart, and whether they were good guys or bad guys, you just like the Hart Foundation. They wore pink, for goodness sakes, and they went out there, and you know that they would whoop some tail if you ever said something to them about wearing pink. I think Bobby Heenan used to say, they're tough. They're wearing pink. No man's going to go out there and wear pink and be soft. So I always like the Hart Foundation. I even have down here his Intercontinental title matches. Everyone loves the match with Mr. Perfect from SummerSlam, and the King of the Ring one was really good as well. My personal favorite Bret Hart match is WrestleMania 8 against Rowdy Piper for the Intercontinental Championship, where Piper tells the story of should he hit Bret in the head with the bell or not. I just love that match, and then the sleeper, and Bret reverses it and wins the belt back with his brains, basically like, yeah, he's got me in the sleeper, he'll never let go. So just a great match. If you haven't watched it, check it out on the network. I got Bret Hart.
They did that spot years later with Austin in the $1 Million Dream. With when Bret faced Austin, they did that spot, with the $1 Million Dream years later. The same spot as the Piper spot, where he rolls back on the $1 Million Dream and pins Austin. So
Survivor Series '96, I believe.
Yeah, I believe that was it.
Excellent match there too. What else did we have? We had Bret Hart beating Ric Flair for the title in Canada. No, who would have thought that would have happened back then? And on a house show, Bill. Imagine that today. A house show match, and all of a sudden you watch Superstars one week, let's just say on a Saturday morning. The next week you come back, whoa, Bret the Hitman Hart's the world champ? How did that happen? It was out of nowhere when I was a kid, like literally. You would have never even believed that. We've had him in WCW. I loved his match with Chris Benoit when they had the Owen Hart tribute match. They went out there and gave them plenty of time and let them just wrestle. And Bret told a great story with Chris Benoit. And basically, I wrote down his Hall of Fame. I mean, him coming back was the first signs of him like, yeah, I'm all right with WWE. And they let him come into the Hall of Fame. And Vince always had a spot for Bret in his heart. He just couldn't let him leave with that belt because of the Montreal Screwjob, as Bill said. So many ways to look at it. But overall, Bret Hart is one of the greatest competitors ever. And I just wanted to say, Bret, thank you for everything you've done for the wrestling business. And we do appreciate you. And I hope you do win this battle with cancer, because cancer sucks and no one deserves to have that. That's just my thoughts on it personally. But, gentlemen, this is going to be the end of the show. I thank you both for coming on. I know there were some technical difficulties with the sounds and the mics and everything, but you guys definitely gave some great insight on everything. Veal, tell the people where they can find you and any shout-outs you want to give.
Man, I only got one shout-out to give. Shout out my boy Y2K. That's all I got to say.
Absolutely. And BA, same for you. Any shout-outs you want to give? And I appreciate you coming on the show as well.
Well, so thanks for having me. Hopefully you'll have me on in the future. Catch me, at Twitter at VARaphael. I'm usually tweeting Raw, most of the pay-per-views. Opinion. So you can always catch up with me there. And I'm always one to want to talk and discuss professional wrestling. So.
And folks, I have to thank my guests once again, and I want to thank you, everyone who's out there watching the program, the show. Let me know, do you like the show? Is there any feedback that you have? Do you want to be a guest? Please contact me and let me know. You can contact me on social media. My Twitter handle is @Conrad Cushman. That is CONRADKUSHMAN. You can message me on there. If you guys could, please like the video, share it, comment, subscribe, whatever it is that you want to do. And if you could, please give me some questions, leave me some feedback. It helps the show, and I can ask them next week if you want. And tell people about the show. The bigger we grow, the better it gets. I promise you.
Tell a friend to tell a friend.
Exactly. I want to thank you guys once again. And this is Everything Pro Wrestling, Episode 4. Guys, we are out. Thank you.